Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to the fourth episode of the weekend wrap up. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you had a great Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all those fathers out there, not just, you know, with the title, but representing that title because it's not an easy one. But yeah, man. So happy Father's Day. Um, big show. There's a lot of stuff to discuss. The market, man. There was some interesting moves, and of course, hot topics. There's plenty of them. But speaking hot topics. We have a guest tonight. Yeah, I have a guest tonight. And maybe you guys know him. Very familiar, right? Very familiar because I do hang out with him every Tuesday night on the Newbieverse. But we've shared the screen many times, but never just the two of us. So, baby, light the candles because it's just me and Mr. Rocksteady. What's going on, bro?
I want to play like just the two of us, but like the mini me version, you know?
Yeah, I'm mini me, right? That's what you're trying to say.
We can decide that later. But yeah, this is a nice cap for the week, man.
Yeah, man.
Like
Just
Sunday night, pretty chill.
Yep, Sunday night hangouts, man, to recap what's been going on in the week. And of course, we'll kick off the week again together on Tuesday on the Newbieverse at 9:40 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, this is like kind of a busy week. I feel multiversal. I was been from the Newbieverse to the Comic-Con podcast and now here. Like this is pretty exciting for me.
Yep. I was just gonna say that, man. You honestly killed it on the Comic-Con podcast. I thought it was a great episode, very informative. I actually didn't even know. Imagine this. We do shows every week together on Tuesdays. I totally didn't even know that you were heavy into toy collecting.
Yeah, like real big at one point. And I still am like not so much production stuff, but like the pre-production and yeah, it's always a favorite of mine, but it's an expensive hobby and then it takes up a lot of space. So I've diversified, let's say.
Yeah, but it was a great show. If you guys haven't yet, go check out the Comic-Con podcast on Spotify, Apple Music. You can find it pretty much everywhere. Great episode. Rocksteady was recently there, and it was a fun hour, man. I listened to it on my way to work. Finished it on the way back. I'll be honest with you because I had to get to work. I didn't want to get in trouble.
We'll accept that.
Yeah, thank you for the pardon. But yeah, man, it was a great episode and definitely check it out. But yeah, so like I said, every week we speak FOC. That's been recently added. Got market report and of course hot topics. Now, I would say hot topics wise, there's quite a few things that have been going on within the last week. Even Flash came out, man, and those numbers actually got released on what it made on the opening weekend. So we're gonna dip into that a little bit too as well. Market report, well, there's tons of stuff to discuss there. But speaking Flash, you and I were just talking briefly before getting on. You haven't seen it yet, right?
I have not seen it. Not being a huge DC guy and being disappointed whenever I've given it the chance, I've decided to wait until it comes home.
Yeah. So you're not? Do you think you're gonna see it in theater at all, or
probably not? Like unless it's one like random, somebody invites me, and But I have no plans on it, if that makes sense.
So basically, you guys heard it here. Rock said he's just waiting for someone to invite him. Otherwise, he won't go.
Yeah, exactly.
So send your invites. But no, the month of June has been rather busy, especially at the theater. We've seen Transformers drop. We've seen Across the Spider-Verse. Now we got the Flash. I think next week we get Indiana Jones, right? So,
and Guardians wasn't that long ago.
I know it was like maybe a little over a month ago.
Yeah, and is Secret Invasion next week?
It's this week. Yes, Secret Invasion drops this week as well. So I got to say, us nerds got very spoiled within the month of June.
It's finally nice out, and we're getting all these excuses.
Yeah, well. To be fair, my allergies are terrible. Like I took my kids out to play today, and I was like, Jesus! Like just that 1 hour, I was dying. But yeah, no, exactly. It's heating up. It looks, it's beautiful summertime in Canada. It's very short, but every reason to stay in and go watch a movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. But all right, let's say hi to the chat real quick. Who we got here? We got Comic Chic in the house, and of course, speaking of the man, he's got his popcorn ready. He's got his Corona on the side. That's how he does it. But Newbie's in the house. Appreciate him for being here. Marissa's in the house. She wants a wrench, and yes, guess what? You have one. So just be careful. don't don't get too crazy. But Pacino's in the house. Pacino's a regular here on the show as well. Already hopped on twice, and he'll be here way more often. Always a great time chatting with him. Costantino's in the house. Fra, what's going on, brother? I appreciate you being here. And who else we got? Neighbor to the north, man. Neighbor to the north was actually just messaging me now. He actually so he had a table. He had a table at a show not too long ago. Actually, it was today. I think it was today. Sold some comics. First time.
That's sweet.
Greg, you're at like how many times now?
Oh, I don't know anymore.
Yeah,
I can't count.
I've actually never sold at a show, so yeah.
It's good. It's so. Could I do it just as easily on eBay? Probably. But it's the atmosphere. It's getting to hang out with your like comrades. And also you get like first ins to the show, and that's when I found some of the best stuff.
Yeah, no kidding, man. And especially, you get to speak with vendors and so forth. Might strike up a deal at the end.
You have stuff there to trade too, so
True.
It gives you all sorts of options.
True. But yeah, who else is here? We got AOA in the house. AOA, always appreciate you coming to hang out with us. AOA always supports, man. Always coming over to the Kingpins, coming over to the Newbieverse. And speaking of the Kingpins, what's going on, boys? Guys, don't forget tomorrow, Retrospect is going live, 7 p.m. Eastern time. My favorite show that we do. So definitely go check it out. I will do everything in my power to be there, but that life is just difficult at that time slot, man. Keys, my man is back from hiding. I don't know where he's been. I'm just kidding. I know where he's been. Yeah, with the eggplant. That's how he does. Tim is in the house, man. Rocksteady is everywhere in this country. Exactly, dude. Kicking ass and even crossing the border. He was over at, like I said, Comic-Con podcast. So definitely check it out. Lefteros is in the house, and we'll be highlighting some of Lefteros' FOC picks from this week. So keep an eye out. We're actually going to kick it off very shortly. Who else we got here? Hyper, who has also been here. Hyper, greatly appreciate you. Yes, sir. I gotta say, man, Hyper. I don't know if you've been seeing his latest pickups. The guy always says, like, I'm not picking up books, slowing it down. He always finds the best stuff, man. Yeah. Who else? No, my man, Dude and Marvel hit up a show today. Dude's been crushing it. I don't know if you guys are following Comic Kingpins on Instagram. If you're not, you're doing me dirty and the boys. Go check it out. But Comic Kingpins, man, Dude went with Marvel to a show. They found some sweet books, but Dude actually picked up a sweet collection. Go check it out. Show me your hauls. He showed some of that off too, man. So go check it. Who else we got here? Wesley's in the house. So Wesley, just got home from work. We got BC and Rocksteady in the house. Dude, appreciate you being here. And of course, we've got Comic Aussie, another Canuck. Yeah, appreciate you as well, my brother. Now, like I said, we're going to kick it off with FOC. So, Rocksteady, you ready?
I'm always ready.
Let's do it. That is not me dropping that solo, by the way, Rocksteady. I just wanted to let you know, but it sounds pretty cool, right? So, FOC selections, week of June 18. Again, these are from Lefteros' Instagram page. So if you guys haven't yet, go check out Lefteros on Instagram. Always posting great content. Tomorrow, the Comic Kingpins will be featuring some of the new comic book day picks of the week as well. And of course, you see that little logo right there, Comic Nation. Comic Nation, for those of you who are living within the US, hit up comicnation.us to get your FOC pre-orders in. You're still in time, guys. You're still in time. And use the discount code Lefteros. Type it in. You'll get an extra 5% discount off of your final total. So, there you have it. Now we'll jump into the books. Rocksteady, have you seen his Instagram? Did you get a sneak peek at this?
I did get a sneak peek. I actually watched a couple FOC shows and did my FOC today.
There you go. Well, I'm pretty sure
is pretty spot on.
Yes, they are. Great picks. And of course, we're going to start with pick number 1. I think this is a good one. So you got Void Rivals #1, second print. We all saw how first print went. In fact, off FOC, it surpassed 100,000 copies, if I'm not mistaken. It even surpassed 105. Yeah. So it was up there in orders. But now, second print, there is no ratio to be running or chasing after. This is it. There's 2 covers that were released on FOC. One of them looking really weird. This one I really like. I don't know if you saw the other one, Rocksteady. It's got that like Sesame Street feel.
Yeah, the Sesame Street vibe. I don't mind that one.
Yeah. Sorry?
I don't mind that one. I don't mind
No.
the B cover.
Stop
and
it.
Constantino, I wish I could. I have a wedding to go to next weekend. But that red, white, and black show, or red, white, and whatever comic show, is like probably the best for comics in Alberta.
There you go. But all right, man. So Void Rivals #1 hitting second print. I think this is a banger cover, man, with Jetfire. I think it's awesome. Probably, I want to say it's better than the first cover. I do, simply because I like Transformers over what we got in the first print. But you picking this up?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get. I think I ordered one of each cover. I got 3 of the first one. I like the Void Rivals thing. I'm pretty on board with it. A lot of nostalgia hits home. As far as investment wise, I don't know where it's going to sit, but I think it's going to be one of those books where everybody needs one in their collection. Like, even though Spider-Man 1 from the 90s, like there's 500,000 out there, like everybody kind of needs one in their collection.
For sure.
Lethal Protector kind of thing, right? So,
yep. I agree with you 1,000% there. Of course, first print, like I said, it surpassed 100,000 copies. I'm pretty sure everyone's going to be able to lock one down. Not too sure. Let's see how this second print does. I don't know if it's going to be heavily ordered. Like I said, there's no ratio to be chasing, right? So maybe a little less. We'll see. But I think with, Jetfire on both covers, I expect it to be ordered.
100,000 sounds like a lot. Imagine like X-Men 1 that surpassed 1 million.
Oh, dude.
Like, isn't that wild to think about it?
And it's that $10 range, man. I've seen people grabbing it at that price.
But it's sold out around here. All the shops are sold out of Void Rivals in my town.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. That's Void Rivals 1, the second print. But let's move on from this one, and we're talking Amazing Spider-Man 31. Now, this variant right here, this is the John Tyler Christopher variant. Now, if you're not too familiar on FOC, he's got another book which we'll show very shortly, so keep an eye out for that. But his art is actually awesome. I think it kind of reminds me of when Nakayama came in, and then Nakayama had his staple version of his covers. Like, you just knew it was a Nakayama cover. Well, he's doing the same thing, man. You can really see what this guy can bring to the table. I think he's got beautiful covers, and of course, this is a classified cover. We all know how these turn out, right? Look what happened with the spoiler cover with Amazing Spider-Man 26. But this is a pretty pricey book. It's $9.99 US. Are you picking one up?
So nobody's seen what the cover is yet?
No, this hasn't even passed FOC, not hit the printers, nothing.
So the B cover has Black Cat on it. I'm wondering if we get a Black Cat negative space.
Oh man, I would love that. I would love that. Yeah, let's check the chat. Yeah, here, hold on. We've got some cool guesses here. I like this new Superior Spidey. Now, it would make sense, especially with Doc Ock being within the story, right? So we shall see.
Imagine it dropped with Spider-Boy.
Oh, no, Spider-Boy is here to stay, buddy. We are going to talk about that a little later. But yeah, Spider-Boy issue 1 has been announced, guys. So we'll talk about that later on.
It's been interesting how JTC has kind of struck fire twice, because he did all those trading card variants too, right?
Yes.
So that's pretty cool to see him switch it up completely and find another run of kind of gimmicky stuff, but people seem to like it.
Exactly, man. And like you said, the gimmicky stuff that people like, kind of like Nakayama. Remember, he was doing that. He's found his little niche, I guess you could say, and is running with it. And I think they're awesome. They all look great. We're gonna show you a cover very shortly, so we'll move on from this one. But Black Panther 2, man, first cover appearance of Biza, whatever it's called. Uh, I read issue 1. I don't know if this is going to be a character that's gonna stick around, but hey, man, if people are still speculating on such characters, by all means, we'll see how it turns out. I'm not gonna go too crazy on this one. I think there's actually some nicer covers when it comes to issue 2. But what's your thoughts on this? Did you read issue 1?
No, I just picked it up today. I wasn't able to grab my comics until today,
Yeah.
but I got the Scotty Young, obviously. But yeah, it's nice. I do like Torrin Clark, and I feel like it's kind of like under the radar what's going on there, and some of the bangers that have come out, in my opinion,
Yeah.
I'm happy with. So yeah, I'm not going to hate on this comic. I think Black Panther is usually a pretty good one, and then depends if the character stays or not. But not many supporting Black Panther characters tend to hold value.
No, exactly. I agree with you there. But yeah, man. So one that is on the radar, especially for Lefteros, dropping this great information. Now, moving on from this one, here's the cover I was talking about. Blade 1. Look at this. Doesn't it look amazing? So you got this whole negative space stuff going on. I think it's incredible, and there's going to be a first appearance of somebody named Adana. So you got that going for it. Now Blade's coming back. I'm excited to read about this. I know he had his little appearances and stuff going on with his daughter in the what's called the Bloodline Run or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I totally blanked out on what it was called, but yeah, man. So that was going on. I didn't dip too into that. I didn't read so much, but I'm excited to see now Blade's coming back with his own stuff, and I think this cover is a banger. There's quite a few. There's some other good ones as well, but this one's the winner for me.
Did you ever watch the show Reboot?
Of course I did. Oh, I know where you're going.
This looks like Blade from the Reboot universe.
I knew exactly where you were going. Man, Reboot was one of my favorite shows of all time as a kid.
It was ahead of its time, man. That's a good show.
Yeah, but when Enzo becomes an adult, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The Mortal Kombat stuff in the mainframe.
So awesome.
Yeah.
But back to Blade. Blade has been heating up again, I think, with the announcements, and that they're still going through and they still haven't canceled it, is giving people a little bit of hope here. Mm-hmm. Like I saw that 90s one get a little bit of some love over the last couple of weeks. But I don't think this is one of his better negative space covers, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like I really like the Luke Skywalker one.
Yes.
I think there's a Boba Fett one that I really like. But as far as this one, yeah, I don't know. I just don't think it's dark enough, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
Blade moves in the shadows and stuff, and this is more of a highlight than hiding him. I don't know. Yeah. Just not my vibe.
Yeah, guys, I'm catching up on the chat here as well, but I appreciate everybody popping in. I see the comment section, people going at each other, which is pretty funny. RP joined. RP, man, thank you for being here, bro. Appreciate that. But yeah, if I missed anyone, I apologize. But I appreciate you all. Now, moving on from this one, though, Rocksteady, I just want to show something here. We spoke about this briefly. I can't remember if it was on stream or off stream with Newbie, but Extreme Venomverse issue 5. Now, it's you're seeing Jeff the shark, right? Basically with the symbiote drawn by Peach Momoko. But you did say something. We've seen this before, right?
Yeah. So in one of the Deadpool comic books.
Yes.
Yeah, my buddy Dan showed it to me, and I was like, okay, he's already been venomized, so it's not the first venomized Extreme Venomverse. But what I like about this one is, I would say like 1 out of every 50 Momoko covers I like, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Yeah.
But the ones I like I love.
Yeah.
And this is one that I might get slabbed right off the hop.
I
could really like this cover.
I could already see you like sending this in to get signed in a CGCSS series. Probably signature on the tongue, right? I know how you are. You freaky man.
Yeah. I don't know. This is pretty dope. I
Yeah,
like
no, it's an
this.
awesome cover, and I agree with you. Momoko is nowhere close to being my favorite when it comes to art, but when she does hit, she hits home runs. So it's either a huge hit or a big miss for me.
Yeah, I ordered two. How many did you order?
I ordered one of this cover. Well, this cover, I only ordered one.
Okay.
Yeah, but I did get some of the other ones. There's that baseball slugging Venom as well. So I'm curious to see these new characters. I really like the manga one. I don't know if you saw that one within this run, but there's quite a few cool characters who dropped within this one.
Yeah, I got the manga girl cover. I kind of wanted. What was it? The 1 in 50 or the 1 in 25 of that just had her right on the cover.
I can't remember, to be honest with you.
But yeah, I really wanted that one, and I
Yeah.
don't know. It priced it. I priced out of it already. Maybe I'll try to get it when it comes out.
Yeah, but let's move on from this. We've got some more. Now, Star Wars 35 is hitting a second print. Now, this is the first full appearance of Dr. Kuwata. Clearly, this character now, people are buying into it, especially with the ties to Luke, the saber, and so forth. So I thought it was pretty neat. I did get quite a few copies of this one and 34. But are you going to be making a chase for the second print, or?
No, it's I have a hard time with new Star Wars. Like we aren't going to see, like, we might see a fraction of these new characters,
Yeah.
and it's just overwhelming for me. So I think the advantage with this section of Star Wars is Charles Soule is doing it. Like he did 8 Billion Genies and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
like a talented writer, and I've heard some people are saying good things about Star Wars again. But yeah, I don't know. As a jumping on point, it's scary because I'm so out of the loop.
Yeah. Well, it's a great character. I think it's got potential. But speaking Star Wars, there's more Star Wars, and we're getting into Star Wars Dark Droids issue number 1. Now, solicitation reads, "Who or what is the Scourge?" Implying a possible first appearance or introduction here. So that's something that Lefteros is bringing to our attention. Now, there is a foil cover as well. I don't know if you saw it with R2D2 that's available.
R2, yeah.
And yeah, exactly. And Marvel's come out apparently not too long ago. There was news that said that, retailers were not going to be getting discounts on these foils. Remember, we were speaking the Hulk 181. So I can confirm that retailers are getting that. So if your shops are pricing them a little higher, you might want to reconsider shops. But yeah, man. So just to put that out there, I've heard that retailers are getting it. So you could expect to get those those foil covers for pretty much more or less cover price. Hopefully not too much more is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, man, I'm going for the foil. I don't know about you.
Foils scare me because sometimes they're just like kind of printed on shiny paper, and sometimes they're designed to be a foil. So it gives me hope that it's not like a regular cover and a foil that's exactly the same.
Yeah.
And the R2 being a bot and stuff, I think it's appropriate. But yeah, I'm not getting into the Dark Droids. I do kind of like the idea, but I feel like if it does become a good story, I can go back and grab it.
Yeah. Agreed. And of course, last but not least, Star Wars Dr. Aphra 34. So likely the first full appearance and cover of Star Weird. Yes, what a name, Star Weird. I don't know how I feel about this one. I'm actually completely off of Dr. Aphra. I stopped reading, but I stopped reading in the single digits, to be completely honest. Now, I don't know if you're keeping up with any of this or not, but
not Aphra. Like again, it's like this new universe. Like I'm pretty old school. I was chatting with Tomb about this one today, actually, and we like Aphra. I'm worried they're gonna play out Aphra before they have an opportunity to capitalize on her in the box office.
yeah.
So I hope we don't get tired of Aphra. I that was the beauty of, say, Boba Fett, is we knew very little about Boba Fett. We couldn't wait to see Boba Fett, and I don't think they're going to get the coin from the comics that they could from the movies.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. Aphra's first app is still within the 300 range too, man. That one came down, so We'll see. But I'm like I said, I'm not on this. I think this one is going to be a skip for me personally. But of course, Lefteros dropping the information, and I greatly appreciate that. Now, speaking Lefteros, guys, you can follow him, support him, check out Comic Nation US. Definitely check them out on Instagram as well. But visit the website, get your FOC orders in. Here are the books that Lefteros highlighted. So if you see anything else you want to grab, definitely pick it up and enter the discount code Lefteros for an additional 5% off. Yes, that brings your totals down to like $3.23. That's cheap. So there you go.
Cheap.
Very cheap on a $3.99 book, right?
Yeah.
So there you have it, man. That was FOC. But Mr. Rocksteady, we do have other stuff to talk. And like I said, market report. There were some good moves on the market, man, that I'm excited to go over. So you ready?
I'm ready. I love this stuff.
Vamos. Now, for those of you who are new to this, because this is episode 4, Rocksteady as well, just want to let you know, most of this information that I'm gathering here is either from CBSI, Cover Price, eBay, Go Collect, or even myself taking the time, going to see, other books that maybe didn't make the list and see how these books are doing on the secondary market. So let's kick it off. We're going to start with some fun stuff. I know Spider-Man and everything Spider-Man related has been dominating these lists, but X-Men Adventures #1. Yes, obviously this comic is based on the animated TV series, and this came in at number 4 on Cover Price's list. So CGC 98 sold for $250 US, and raw copies sell for $15 US in a near mint condition, right? So that's some good coin there on a 9.8. But yeah, man, so there's news that, we should be expecting to see this rather soon. We know it was supposed to drop when they announced it at San Diego Comic-Con within the year 2023. They said mid-2023. We're getting there. We're nearly the mid. So I'm expecting hopefully a fall release. So what do you think of this move, man? $250 US.
It's that nostalgia bug, man, once it crawls in.
Yeah.
I think for people from our generation, this is like what we know X-Men as. When we saw the cartoon, when we saw the t-shirts, when we would go to the card shop and they would have X-Men Series 1, Series 2, like this Jim Lee stuff is our jam, and especially the bridge with the cartoon and first appearance of Morph.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how the cartoon goes and who they target it towards. I think that's going to be super important.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of these books out there, so just be careful of that. But it's slowly becoming like one of those books where everybody needs one in their collection.
Yeah, no, exactly. And AOA's comment made me laugh with the whole love for the first appearance of Morph. Yeah. I don't think that's really it, but yeah, man, definitely the nostalgia. Dude, $250 USD. I think that's a great sale on behalf of the seller. But I don't know, man. For me, it's a little pricey. But again, if this is what you love within your collection, it's definitely worth spending for. But seeing that $15 USD on the raw near mint, I imagine in a higher grade you can, 9.8 candidates could probably find within $40 range. So I'd be hunting more the raw copies personally.
Yeah, it's such a risk though, right? Like if you land a 9.6, you're probably you fall down to like a $60 book.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Population books like this.
Yeah.
So it is a risk. It's your money, but this is a cool one to have in like even your office at work. Yeah. Just because it's X-Men and everybody can relate. It's not far out there. I like it. I like the book.
Dude, you could literally look at this cover and hear the intro to the cartoon, man. That's what it does to me. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I could understand why somebody would want it slabbed in a 9.8, but I'm okay with a 9.6 personally. It's not for resale values or anything, so it's that nostalgia. Put it up in the room, and then when you look at it, you can hear it playing in your head, kind of like when they revealed Kamala Khan was a mutant. It's just playing in the background.
Yeah,
but yeah, man. So this one came in. Sorry,
I definitely get the feels from this book.
Yeah, no, definitely. But again, like I said, this one came in at number 4 on cover price, so I was very, very surprised to see this one here. But moving on, number 11 on cover price was Amazing Spider-Man issue 293. So there's some Spider-Man 2 rumors here as well. You see him obviously holding the symbiote suit and so forth. And first off, I think this entire arc was awesome, and it crossed across. It went across multiple titles, right? Spider-Man related, but a CGC 9.8 sold for $345.65 Canadian in the newsstand, but a direct 9.8 went for 220 Canadian. The rumors are that within the Spider-Man 2 video game, Kraven's gonna be the one to be taking on the whole Venom suit, right? He's gonna take on Venom, like he's going to be Venom. Sorry. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if this is true or not, but it's interesting to see people flock to this issue right here. And I think, of ASM covers, this one being awesome. Unfortunately, we will speak about something else Craven related in the Hot Topics section. I'm sure some people have seen a little glimpse of what he's going to look like in live action.
Just take a good look at this Craven and take a photograph with your mind right now.
Yeah, exactly. And then just remember once we get to the other portion of the Hot Topics. But yeah, man. So 345.65 Canadian in a CGC 9.8 for newsstand. Look at the difference, man, between these two. It's $125 more.
Yeah, and percentage wise, like I know newsstand would have been a little bit harder to get, but I don't think super tough to get at that time. But to be honest, like this run of Spider-Man, like what's the one where he's crawling out of the grave and stuff? Is that Amazing Spider-Man as well? Like Craven's
Well,
Last Hunt, or is that Web?
it is part of that, but I believe it was Web of Spider-Man.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I feel like those are some of the most iconic Spider-Man covers of all time, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So I can see it. Like if you look at some of the other iconic covers from this time, it's not too far off. Like those prices, this price doesn't shock me.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Cover wise, man, it's definitely a beauty. It's classic as hell. Definitely one you would want to display. But with the recent rumors, it looks like it didn't, make a jump on the list, and here it is at number 11. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and of course, AOA. Yeah, exactly, man. Newsstands in those days were like what Rocksteady said, pretty much equal, right? So it's interesting to see that people are paying premium for that newsy. But hey, is what it is. All right, moving on from this one. Now, we spoke Void Rivals, and I assumed even early on that this book was going to be jumping. I think you, myself, and Newbie were speaking backstage when we had some assumptions that it was most likely going to be Hasbro related and G.I. Joe Transformers in particular. This book, G.I. Joe and Transformers #1, came in at number 5 on cover price and at number 2 on CBSI's list. Now, obviously, Transformers Rise of the Beast came out, and there was, there's spoilers. I don't know if you guys heard the news. I won't spoil it. But if you're looking at this title, that's pretty much spoiler right there. But that's all I'm going to say. But a CBCS 9.8, dude, sold for $329.75 on June 15, 2023. And a CGC 9.8 sold for $527.70 on June 7th, 2023. Nuts. And dude, this has been I've been scooping this book up for maybe $2 at most for the longest time. I've got maybe 4 or 5 copies somewhere in these boxes, but to think that it's hit $527, this is paid. This is not a this is
Especially
not,
in this day and age.
yeah, exactly. So there you go. Look, this book was in all the dollar bins. Woots, I have one book. Yeah, there you go. Transformers G.I. Joe. Crazy.
So this book actually kind of reminds me of the White Vision book, where they were everywhere. Everyone kind of has them in their collection, but
Yep.
not a lot of people have graded them. So I feel
Yep.
after this news, we're gonna like hear
Census.
like tons of them and tons of them being added to the census. With that being said, it was a kid's book, let's call it. and it's a white cover, and so it might get dirty and stuff like that. So it might be a little bit tougher to get a 9.8, but I say hold on a little bit if you're looking to buy this one.
No, definitely, man. And it's a great comparison with the White Vision book because, yeah, man, it's exactly that. And one of those books that's been in dollar bins for the longest time. And now here we are speaking about it at number 5 on cover price, hitting $527 on a CGC 98 is mind blowing. But here we are, man. This is the reality. And yeah, and I'm still seeing there was a listing. I think there's a listing right now that is ongoing. And when I checked it yesterday for a CGC 98, it was sitting somewhere around $200 Canadian with 4 days left.
And I think that 2 to 250 range is, I think, where it should land.
Yeah.
But man, 525 or whatever.
Yeah. So what are raws going for? Man, they are all over the place. So when I was looking on eBay, I was seeing some as low as $10, some as low as, I'm saying low, but $30, $40 Canadian. So they're all over the place. They're definitely trying to find, a level, but I'm not too sure, man. I want to give you a straight answer, but it's hard to say because conditions play factor as well, given that this was a book from the 80s.
And one that was in dollar bins, and those dollar bins aren't always the best kept.
Exactly.
There's a lot of fingers running through there.
Exactly. But if you do see one and you're out there shopping, pick it up, man. It's an easy flip, it seems, at this point. So, but yeah, speaking of Transformers, dude, here's another one. Transformers 11. Now, obviously, there will be some Void Rivals spoilers. If you haven't read the book, I'm going to be speaking a little bit about what takes place. But CGC 98 of this book sold for $209.76 Canadian on June 12, 2023. First appearance of Jetfire. Now, I put a question mark on purpose, okay? Let me dip into this just a little bit for you guys, and then we'll come back to the pricing on this one. $209.76 Canadian. Now, you have this cover thing, and I feel like Jetfire's first appearance kind of gets that same treatment. I hate to bring it up with the Hulk 180, 181, or we can say ASM 299, 300, and so forth. Keep going. But clearly here is Jetfire on the cover, but when we hop over and just read one issue prior. Now we're looking at Transformers 10 over here. Raw copies you can still find between $10 to $40 Canadian. And again, I will leave the question mark here for first appearance of Jetfire because if you did read the issue, you can see over here in issue 10 that now Shockwave is pretty much telling Optimus, here's Jetfire. I've designed him to be the most powerful and lethal Decepticon jet yet. So, you've pretty much got a name drop there. You can clearly see Jetfire there, but not in action. I think that's what it comes down to. So, just putting it out there. If you guys are looking to speculate on Jetfire, I would go for the 1-2 punch, man. Pick up 10, pick up 11. But yeah, man. So what do you think of this? Issue 11, because Void Rivals, clearly that 1 in 100 does show on the cover, Jetfire and so forth, story-wise. We know where this is going now. We've seen the release. There's a poster showing that Transformers, Duke, Cobra Commander, all coming to Image. So
I think 209.75 for any Transformers 98 is a pretty good grab, in my opinion. I think as time moves on and people realize that some of the Transformer books are easy to find but hard to find in 98, they're trying to do that run, that maybe that 1 to 10 or 1 to 20 run in 98. And I'm surprised it's actually that low. Like Chris is trying to do the G.I. Joe run, and that's painful to try to get done. So I think any of the 9.8s at 209 is a pretty good grab. Never to mind one that is notable, whether it's the first appearance or not. I think it's not a bad price, and I'm surprised it's not more, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, and I will say that CGC, obviously on their label, does acknowledge issue 11 as the first appearance, and I just wanted to shed some light. Like I said, issue 10, clearly with the name drop and so forth, so there you have it. But I agree with you, Rocksteady. Finding these in 9.8s especially, man, it's rather difficult. I'm going to be honest with you, I've not checked the census on this book, but I imagine there's not too many in a 9.8, right? I don't think. I don't think that would be the case. So definitely a tough book to grab. I think the 209 area price wise seems pretty fair for this book, but we'll see where it goes from here, man. I mean, technically, Void Rivals, the 1 in 100, sold for even more than that raw, right? It was at like
Which was
350.
wild, right?
Yeah. So just want to say that if I understand why people would flock to the 1 in 100 for Void Rivals, but I'm personally the type of guy that would rather spend that money on a 9.8 of the actual first appearance of this character, if for whatever reason you're speculating on Jetfire.
I think it would be different if like a 9.8 was $1,000 and then you're gonna go for the next best thing, but you can get the best thing for the same price. So
yeah,
heck.
Exactly. So there you have it. Transformers 10. Like I said, this one's still raw. $10 to 40 Canadian. You can find it out there, man. That's just on eBay. I'm sure you find this in shops for maybe even cheaper. But there you have it. This is the page. Well, you have this section of a page where I'm just highlighting. So just wanted to shed some light. Now, moving on from some Transformers, we're getting into the Spider stuff. Now, I know you really like Gwen more. Miles. I know you prefer Miles over Gwen. But here you've got her first solo series. Now, this one came in at number 8 on cover price. Keeps coming and going off of the lists. But CGC 98 sold for $158.31 Canadian on June 17, 2023, man. Would you say this is the next best book after Edge of Spider-Verse 2?
So I actually sold this one last weekend.
Nice.
I sold the 9.8. I got 125 Canadian.
Not bad.
Which I think is pretty good. I do like this book, but you look at the census numbers and we're in the thousands, right?
Yeah.
Like there's just a lot of this book. So people say this is the next best thing and maybe but there's just so many out there. I think even like Radioactive Spider-Gwen, I think there's less of that in 9.8. I would tend to go more towards some of the keys and get them raw of Spider-Gwen. Like you can get a Gwenum or something along those lines, which I think is inevitable.
Yeah.
But it's a great book. Again, one to have on the shelf, one to have in the collection. But I don't see it spiking like crazy.
I agree with you 1,000%, but here's one that actually blows my mind, man. And it's one that you and I have spoken about with Newbie in our chat. But, people flock to this particular cover. It's the cover A, right? For Spider-Gwen issue number 1. And again, this sold for $158.31. You heard Rocksteady sold his for $125 in a CGC 9.8. But check this, man. I know that in today's world of collecting, a lot of people are chasing those ratios. Now look at the 1 in 25 of this book. This didn't make any lists, but I'm highlighting it, just letting you guys know that CGC 9.8 recently sold for $65.95. That is dirt cheap for a 1 in 25. And again, first solo series, there's only 450 9.8s on the CGC census of this. I've actually got one right in front of me.
Do you want me to blow your mind on this one?
Go for it.
So I was looking at one on eBay this weekend, and there's a CBCS 9.9.
Oh wow!
Up for sale. It's $4.95 Canadian with free shipping.
That's nuts.
Which is pretty tempting,
Yeah, no, I think that's very fair for a 9.9 of the book, and you're getting
9.9.
Yeah, you're getting it at 500. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, so it just goes to show like what a crappy cover can kind of do.
Yeah, this is the Anka cover, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is.
I really like the 1 in 100, which is the Adam Hughes.
Yeah,
but that one sells for what it should. It's around $1,000, right?
Yeah, but it's exactly like you said, man. It's not to not knock Anka's cover, but I guess we can say that that's what it does, man. When it's a less appealing cover, well, here we are.
And then I think the ones to chase are the second and third prints of number 1 with the different colored bottoms, the green and the blue.
Yeah. So you see, Tim, if you held out, you could have picked this one up for 65, already graded. But yeah, man. So quite a drop on this one. I'm actually very surprised. But moving on from Spider-Gwen, let's get back into Star Wars. So we spoke about issue 35, the second print that we saw now on FOC, so still available tonight. But a lot of people are chasing this particular cover. It's the 1 in 25 ratio. It's the first appearance of Dr. Kuwata, and you see Raws selling between 50 to 70 Canadian. This one came in at number 2 on cover price because a lot of sales were tracked on the secondary market. Rightfully so. You see the handover from him of the actual saber to Luke Skywalker, and this is a Phil Noto cover. I think it's a nice one, but very interesting to see, man. This one, a lot of people were looking for on the secondary market, and here they were paying 50 to 70, which I think is fair for a 1 in 25. You know, if you already missed it in shops, what do you think?
I really like Noto, so that's definitely going for it.
Yeah.
I think everybody's trying to get that Dr. Afra effect. Like everybody knows what the incentive for Afra goes for,
Yeah.
and everybody's trying to get the next one. But we look at like High Republic and how many of those have kind of come crashing down.
Yes.
I think you can wait on these, and I think you're going to be able to get a graded one for $100 in the near future.
Yes.
So I'd wait to ride that wave, and I think if you didn't buy all these incentive ones that you hope will pop, you could have used that money to one that already is big. I just have a really hard time chasing modern Star Wars right now.
Yeah. No, that I agree. Marvel's just checking in, seeing the Flash again. You do that, my buddy, because they definitely need the help in the box office numbers, which we will talk about a little later in the Hot Topics portion of the show. But yeah, no, Flash. I'll give my brief review once we hit the Hot Topics. But enjoy, man. It's I think I would go watch it a second time to see if I missed anything. Quite a few things go on within that movie, but we'll talk about that later. So. Marvel, have fun. But Star Wars 35, the 1 in 25 ratio. There you go. So moving on from this one. Now here is a awesome book. This was cover price key of the week. It's Hot Wheels issue number 1. So there's rumors a live action film is in the works with J.J. Abrams. Dude, look at this. A CGC 98 sold for $1,700 USD. That is big money for us in Canadian, based off of exchange. But yeah, man, I think this is neat. This was a DC book, actually. So you can see at the top left corner, this was published by DC. Pretty cool, man. Especially, you know, Hot Wheels. Dude, my kids still buy Hot Wheels and stuff like that. It's Hot Wheels. But would you spend that money on a 9.8 for this?
So I used to have this book. Not in a 9.8, obviously. It's a really cool book, A. I think, B, not a lot of people knew about it until now.
Yeah.
So there's a run. There's, I think, 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah.
And if you look for a 15 center, anything 9.8 and a 15 cent goes for around that kind of money. And the fact that it's Hot Wheels, which gives it like, I think the Hot Wheels collecting market is just as big as the comic collecting market. Yes. And so you have these two universes competing over a limited amount of copies.
Yep.
I don't think it's a bad buy at $1,700 US, in my opinion. The book you want from this run, here's everybody's little tip that you want to look for. I want to say it's 6 or 7. It's the Christmas issue, and it has Santa Claus. Yes. And it is the best cover from the run, and it's like I've been looking for it and I've never ever come across it, and I would love that one in a high grade.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about, man. I remember seeing that. But yeah, man, so Hot Wheels, dude, my neighbor that lives across the street from me, he actually collects a lot of the Hot Wheels cars, but he's been collecting them for years, man. They're still in packages, a lot of rare ones, exclusive ones, and so forth. He's got like his entire garage. We had a Quebec version of Pimp My Garage. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. That actually existed here. But yeah, man, they did a whole reno in his garage. He has had a Camaro SS. It was a 1969 blue with a white stripe convertible. He actually traded that for a 1930 something Buick. I don't remember what it is. I was so disappointed. But I remember when he showed me his garage, I was like, man, I think I'm going to pick up. I got to find a Hot Wheels book. And if I could find Hot Wheels 1 for him and gift it to him, I think he would love that. Now that I'm seeing these prices, if I find that book, I don't think I'm gifting it, man. Look at this.
Yeah. That's going to be a tough gift.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, man. So there you have it, dude. That is the market report for today. Now, of course, we're gonna wrap up the show with some hot topics, and there was lots of it. So I gotta ask you again, Rocksteady, you ready to dip into some of the hot topics of the week?
Whew, let's do it. Big week.
Booyah! So as Rocksteady said, there were some big things that happened within the week. I gotta say, it feels like every week there's so much news that pours out.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, let's kick it off right away. So first things first, The Flash. We were just talking about it briefly now that Marvel popped into the chat, but The Flash has a 55 million 3-day opening weekend. That is way lower than they were projecting, and the projection was 70 to 75, if I'm not mistaken. Now, 55 million is relatively low. I think personally, I kind of feel like they shot themselves in the foot here. I don't know if you've noticed, but almost everybody I know within the comic community, whether it was on Instagram, even some of the comic kingpins, I could tell you that majority saw advanced screenings for free. Now I know that the advanced screenings had a scene that was blacked out as opposed to what we get in the final product, but it did not do well, and it was a suicidal month to be dropping this movie, right? We got Across the Spider-Verse, we got Transformers, now this, you've got Indiana Jones next week. So what do you think here, man? These numbers, do you think this movie even comes close to making back whatever the budget was for this?
Yeah, and like the backlash and all the drama around it, like not only think of like the cost, but think about like all the PR costs and like probably lawyer costs and everything that had to go into this on top of that.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't feel like this one is gonna age well. Like Guardians of the Galaxy is still in theaters and people are still seeing it.
Yep.
And you want the movie to linger in theaters, and I don't know if this one does.
Yep.
I think a lot of people are going to wait for the home release, and I know I am,
Yep.
just because. And I also feel like they showed too much in the trailers, so
Yes.
I
Yes.
feel like the Michael Keaton thing, and it's like, okay, like that would have been a cool surprise to have at the theater, and they kind of used it to advertise it, and
Yep.
I don't think that helped the movie.
No, I look. I'll be honest with you because, like you said, you didn't even watch the Flash, so I won't go too into detail. But what I will say is, from what we know, just within the trailers, yeah, Michael Keaton's within the movie now. Ezra Miller, he did a good job. To me, he's still not Barry. I don't know. He did an okay job. You got to remember, he's playing two different Barrys within the movie, so different character, different acting chops, and so forth. Showed a decent range there within acting capacity on his end, but the story and the movie, what I will say is CGI wise, man, it was brutal to look at. I don't feel like the
Really?
movie, yeah, I don't think the movie got better as it progressed. My buddy, who I went to watch the movie with, and guys, my theaters are usually jam packed come release for a comic book movie. There was maybe 5 people in total, including myself and my buddy, that went to
Hmm.
watch the movie. And I was kind of thrown back by that. I was like, man, this is the Flash, Keaton. Like they really promoted the hell out of this, but it does make sense. A lot of people did get invited to go see the advanced screening. And did that probably hurt? I would say most likely. But back to the movie, I just feel like once Keaton came in, it became a Batman movie. It was like, I want to say it almost took over. And what we saw within the trailer, majority of it we did see. We saw Zod. Zod was the big threat. I thought it would have been better to maybe keep that as a surprise. Um, there's just a lot that just didn't hit. Now, is it a bad movie? No, it's a good movie. I had fun. You understand? Like it was a night out with my friend. Enjoyed a movie. But did I leave there thinking this was the saving grace for DC? No, not one bit. In fact, I think it's a good way to wrap up the whole DC universe as to what it was prior. But it's now, you got Aquaman coming. It's kind of going to fall flat, in my opinion. unless they really tie into what's going to happen afterwards. Blue Beetle is supposedly, according to James Gunn, going to be the first DC character of the new relaunch, right? So I think Blue Beetle is going to set the pace. But overall, it was a okay film. But I would almost put it on the same scale as maybe even just a bar below Quantumania. And I know people feel a certain way with Quantumania. Um, a lot of it kind of felt like it's been done before, right? Because we've seen so much multiversal stuff already now when it comes to Marvel. Marvel has been ahead of that game, unfortunately for DC too, right? So there's that to factor, but it was just, it didn't hit. The CGI stuff was horrible. The story was good. It was okay. Just some things felt out of place. That's all. And I gotta say, I know I was talking to Chiapet as well a little bit. The third act was a bit messy. So that's my take. But I'm curious. I will go back to watch it. I do want to rewatch, see if I missed anything. There's some neat cameos, little surprises that happen within the movie that like hit the nostalgia feels, but not enough for me to leave there saying, "Wow, this was the best shit ever," right? And it didn't hit on that scale. Yeah.
Oh wait.
So there you have it for that. I watched the review and they mentioned how with No Way Home, even when spoilers were out, the actors denied it. Here, DC used it to advertise. Yeah, man. So everyone knew all spoilers. Exactly. There was nothing where I left that movie feeling surprised. Absolutely nothing. And to be honest with you, that last scene, I know they were expecting a reaction. I don't want to say it because I know Rocksteady and some people haven't seen the movie, but is that really the one you wanted to bring back? I feel like you could have brought someone else. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah, Rocksteady, if you're going to watch it at home or you're going to watch it in theater, I'm very curious to know what you're going to think about it once you do watch it. But yeah, man. So just talking the numbers of the Flash, $55 million weekend, 3-day opening weekend. It's rough numbers, man.
Yeah, that's a stare.
Elementals came in right behind that, if I'm not mistaken. And Elementals is a Disney Pixar film, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was somewhere hovering around 29 million. So just to give you an idea.
And like Elementals will linger because it's not something people rush out to see. It's okay,
no, exactly.
We want to go to a movie this weekend. What's showing? And then they go see Elementals. So
yeah, or bring
they'll probably outdo this movie in totals.
Yeah. But all right, man, let's move on from this. Like I said, there's some other big things to talk about. But speaking of No Way Home, Tom Holland apparently no more. Yeah, he says that part of him wants to walk away from Spider-Man. Now, reason being is that he feels like what they've put out already was pretty much a home run. It's kind of like, how do we compete with that? Now, I understand where he's coming from, but realistically, when you watch these movies, we've just set up Peter Parker, Spider-Man, as we've come to know him within the comics. He's lost everything, he loses everything, sacrifices everything, and he's back to basics. So it would be a horrible time for him to walk. I'm sure money's going to speak volumes. He will be back. I don't think, I feel like Tom Holland always comes in and out saying such things. Remember, he was taking a break. He posted on social media. He wants to take a break from acting and even social media itself. He was taking a break. But to walk away from Spider-Man, I don't know, man. I think he's maybe just talking through his emotions here, but what do you think?
I think at some point everybody wants to walk away from their job, if that makes sense. I think the grass is always greener. I think things can get you and you can feel like you're missing out on life no matter where you are. And imagine having to always go out in public and you're always have to be on. You can't slip up. You can't just go to the store in your pajamas and grab milk, right? Like it's not as, yeah, sure, you get bag loads of money, but you lose a lot of freedom. You don't gain a lot of freedom. So I think he's probably just talking out loud, and I don't think he's going anywhere, if you ask me. But yeah, I feel for him. Like, don't get me wrong.
It's funny because what you're saying kind of reminds me of that Tobey Maguire effect. If you see Tobey Maguire anywhere in public, whenever he's being filmed, you see that notorious meme, right, where he's in the airport and just staring back so evilly at the guy who's filming him the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I could definitely see that. But I don't know, man. Tom Holland feels like they've hit home runs, and he doesn't know how they can top it. So we'll see. But I'm pretty positive that there's many stories to be told for Spider-Man, especially with the possibility of Miles coming into the MCU very, in the near future. So we'll see. But I don't think he fully steps away. At least I hope not. I've grown to like him as Spider-Man. So
same.
Yeah. But all right, moving on from this one. Superman Legacy. Now, apparently, Superman Legacy is going to introduce the Authority. So we've heard about the Authority being characters that are going to come into the DC universe now under James Gunn's belt. But the Authority making their way into the Superman Legacy movie, I could see that. I think that would be cool. But if we look now at the current sales, it did come down. It did come down from the original announcement. I think the CGC 98 was hovering around 600 plus. Then it dropped back down to like 350, and now it's back up again. So definitely a book if you're speculating on the Authority at all. There's the Stormwatcher books where you get their actual first appearances individually, but the Authority one is one that keeps going up and down, up and down. Now, I thought it was cool that this news broke. If they do make their way here, I'm curious to see how this would play out. There was a series of Superman and the Authority that also had come out, so maybe something to keep an eye out for. But what are your thoughts?
I think it's a good way to introduce them because they're getting their own project, right? Like a solo Authority. Is it a movie or a show? I think was announced.
Yeah.
So I think introducing them and not having to waste your time on a lot of origin stories on their own piece, and you can kind of get a feel with it and cover it. I think the Authority is kind of a fan favorite too. I think it's a good direction for Superman, if you ask me.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I think it would play out well on the big screen. It's just, I know James Gunn is very particular about how he wants to handle this project. And I could see him definitely look how he did Guardians, right? I could see him, or even, dude, Peacemakers, all these things. I really have faith when it comes to James Gunn dealing with the Authority. So if he is going to have, some role behind that when it comes to this movie, I think it's going to be great. I think it would do them justice if this is their introduction. I think he'll set the tone.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. But again, moving on from this one, here's something that everybody was talking about. Dude, the comment section was absolutely brutal no matter who was posting this. I think comment section was the best part of this leak, right? But yeah, Kraven the Gladiator, apparently. I was seeing people saying it looks like Bradley Cooper ordered off Wish. I was seeing people saying so many things. But if this is really it, man, Rocksteady, I don't even think I need to ask you. This is horrible.
Yeah, like dude wore like a lion on his chest, and now he has something like LARPing. You got it at the LARPing festival, but you got your LARPing stuff at like the sex toy festival or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it is kind of greasy, and yeah, it totally gives me the medieval times dinner and tournament vibe.
Yeah. Dude, I was saying it looks like the prequel to The Passion of Christ, but honestly, I'm hoping that whatever we're seeing here is probably like something that happens to Kraven prior, maybe in a callback scene that, he eventually becomes Kraven the Hunter wearing the whole tiger thing. But again, we did hear prior that Sony is going to be handling this project as he is an animal protector. So I don't expect him to be wearing any animal skin, right? So we'll see.
Faux leather.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's true. Full leather. But we'll see how this plays out. But man, at first glimpse, it's pretty much what everyone feels, right? Sony handling live action projects always puts everybody on edge. This is already disappointing out the gate. So I'd expect to see a trailer pretty soon, given that now we're getting some first images. So we'll see how this plays out. But man, this was fun. The internet did not hold back. The comment sections on Instagram were phenomenal. But yeah, man. So just wanted to shed some light on this. But anyways, moving on from this, here's a cool one. The Incredible Hulk smashes its way to Disney Plus. I don't know if you saw. It's weird because I know that some people were saying they saw it already on Disney Plus. Some people said no. I saw it on Disney Plus. I was actually watching it about a week ago. So it's cool to see now the Incredible Hulk on Disney Plus. But does this mean that Marvel, Disney, has got the rights back from Universal? Because it's been 15 years, right? We're at the 15-year mark exactly. So does this open up the doors for more Hulk content moving forward for the MCU? Will we see Marvel and Disney work on something with the Hulk? And how do you feel about this?
This is so confusing. It's because we had like She-Hulk with the Hulk in it, and you
Yeah.
can have that on Disney. Just the way the agreement works, kind of like how Spider-Man can be in the Avengers movies. But do we want like a solo Hulk project? Weren't there rumors that we were getting Planet Hulk or something like that
Yes,
already? So how
exactly.
could we have that if it's strictly a Sony a property or whatever? Like it's all just very murky and confusing to me.
Mm,
And I really don't think it changes that much. I
yeah.
don't think we're going to get a solo Hulk movie for some time. Like they're already casting Red Hulk. So what does that mean for Red Hulk? Is Red Hulk like a Disney property and only Green Hulk is the Sony?
No, so Disney and Universal had agreements, right? That example, Hulk could have been lent to Marvel, but it would never be a solo title. It would be only under the terms of him being part of the Avengers and so forth. Hence why we pretty much got Planet Hulk within Thor Ragnarok, right? They
Yeah.
touched somewhat based on that. So now it looks like we're getting him full pin here because now they're getting the Incredible Hulk on Disney Plus. 15 years have passed, so it's starting to seem like the rights have been going back to Disney. So if this is the case, this is great news. I really hope this is the case because there's tons of Hulk stories that we need to be
Yeah.
revisiting or visiting. Sorry, not revisiting. But speaking Hulk, there's also now we got his son Scar within the series. I watched this. Now I gotta say, Hulk, when he is the Hulk here in this movie, that's the Hulk.
Yeah.
What we have with Mark
Yeah.
Ruffalo, it is horrendous. So I'm hoping something changes along the way. But hey, man, I'm taking this with some positive vibes. You know what I mean? Like the fact that it's made its way to Disney Plus gives me high hopes now for a better future for the Hulk. That's all I gotta say.
I actually saw this movie downtown Montreal when it was in theaters, believe it or
Really,
not.
this is while you were living here.
Well, I was living in Ontario. We went to Montreal for a weekend, and that was kind of a chill afternoon thing that me and my buddy did.
Nice. So,
Um,
yeah.
what Hulk story would you want to see? Like for me, it's kind of Future Imperfect, maybe.
Yeah.
I'd like to see. How about you? What would you want?
If I gotta speak arcs, yeah, no, I think Future Imperfect would be awesome, man. Especially with Maestro, I think that would be great. But what I would really love to see is, I mean, the whole run of the Immortal Hulk was absolutely
Yeah.
incredible. So if they could touch base on some of that, I think that would be fun. But there's many other stories. Planet Hulk, like I said, we got somewhat references of it within Thor
Hmm.
Ragnarok. But we never saw really a Planet Hulk, and I would love to see what took place, right? Because now here we get his son, but what happened in between? That's
And like
something
some
I'd like to
Sentry
know.
action and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, man, I think that would be awesome.
That'd be cool.
Um, yeah, World War Hulk. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, so there's tons of possibilities, but we'll see with this one. But let's move on from this. We actually have one last thing I'd like to talk about. So Edge of Spider-Verse 3 is coming out this week, and we've seen some leaks. So we've come to learn who Spider-Boy is. Now, the Spider-Boy craze is absolutely bananas. Here we are. It's way over 2 months since the launch of Spider-Boy, holding the top spots majority of the time on cover price for two months. The aftermarket sales, I'm seeing CGCs selling for over 170 Canadians steadily. But here we're meeting the actual man, well, boy behind the mask. And his name is Bailey Briggs. Now, Bailey Briggs has been used as a name prior within Marvel by Dan Slott. Pacino was actually pointing it out to me earlier today how it was within She-Hulk issue 3, so something worth looking at, but I don't think there's any connection, at least I hope not. But here you have Bailey Briggs. The issue seems rather interesting. I think it's going to be a character that's here to stay, because we've also come to learn over the week that Spider-Boy 1 is going to be dropping as its own run as of November 2023. So November is quite a few months from now, and that's when he's getting his solo series. So he's here to stay, boys. That's all I got to say. Rocksteady, what's your take?
They're moving quick with Spider-Boy. Like, Tosin doesn't have his own run. Like, Tosin only has a couple of appearances, and like a lot of the other characters didn't really get that. Like, look how long it took Spider-Punk to get his own run and stuff like that. So this is super interesting. When I was on Comic-Con podcast, Milton was going off about Gingers being replaced in all of Hollywood. So it's nice that the Gingers get another representative and along Spider-Man. I just hope, I hope they do well with it, and I think it's kind of fun. Did you see the 1-in-100 for this, where it's like the Virgin?
Yeah, it's basically the Virgin cover. Yeah, exactly. I did.
Yeah, I like that one. And it's come down quite a bit. I think the hype is here. I think people are on ordering it. And I just got my first Spider-Boy back from CGC this weekend. But man, like, there's a lot of those out there already.
Yeah, no, there's tons. But yeah, man. So just wanted to shed some light on this. Let everybody know that Edge of Spider-Verse 3 this week dropping is gonna basically touch on the origin of Bailey Briggs, Spider-Boy, and there's some ties there with also Mr. Negative. There's a one line that he drops within the issue, so pretty cool, guys. I definitely recommend. Keep an eye out. But Spider-Boy, like I said, gets his own solo series November 2023. Clearly, the character is here to stay, man. But all right, Rocksteady, that was it. That was the show. Dude, I appreciate you coming to hang out. Like I said, this is the first time you and I got to hang out without Newbie. But Newbie, you were well missed, I will say. But
yeah.
But the trio, the Notorious Trio, will be back together again Tuesday night over on Newbie's channel. We're going live at 9:40 p.m. Eastern time. If you're catching the replay, just want to say thank you to everybody here watching. Rocksteady was recently on the Comic-Con podcast, so if you have Spotify, if you've got Apple Music, and you got all that cool stuff, go check it out. It was a great episode. Like I said, I learned some stuff about Rocksteady, even though I hang out with him literally once a week. I learned something new, so definitely check it out, man. Rocksteady, anything you want to say to the people before we take off?
No, thank you for having me, and I would like to wish you and all the fathers out there happy Father's Day.
Damn right, baby. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, especially those owning that title, man. Because being a dad, yeah, it's a neat title, but owning up to it is always a challenge.
Yeah, respect.
There you go. Yep. All right, Rocksteady. Good night. Good night to everybody watching. Love you. See you next Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Peace.
Thanks, everyone.